Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to introduce our topic on curriculum design as a living social ecosystem. This is part of our faculty mentorship course, specifically focusing on academic writing. Today, we'll explore how social functions and activities shape curriculum design, with insights from Bombay Teachers Training College. We'll also look at how this dynamic social model influences education and teaching practices. I look forward to sharing these ideas with you and engaging in a meaningful discussion. Let's get started. Conversely, the activities model functions like an open, collaborative studio. It gives learners the agency to explore and create, providing them with raw materials and flexible workflows. This approach encourages active participation and hands-on learning. In contrast, traditional subject-centered templates are more like a static museum itinerary. They are unchanging, standardized, and focus mainly on analysis rather than creation or discovery. This shift represents the paradigm shift we're discussing, moving from rigid, predetermined structures toward more dynamic, learner-centered environments that foster creativity and engagement. It's a fundamental change in how we think about teaching and learning, aligning more closely with the needs of today's learners. Let's take a closer look at the activities model. Essentially, it conceptualizes the classroom as a micro-society, emphasizing the importance of natural curiosity and social capability. This approach encourages students to explore and interact in ways that mirror real-world social dynamics. When we say it's learner-centered, we're highlighting how the model is built around the student's interests and innate desire to learn. It's also heavily focused on tackling complex, systemic issues that are relevant today, which means it demands cross-disciplinary research loops. Students don't just learn subjects in isolation, they connect ideas across different fields to deepen their understanding. Now, contrasting this with the problem-centered approach, which is organized around strict, vertical canonical blocks, such as algebra. This method tends to prioritize transmitting information through text, often limiting student engagement and integration. Finally, we have the subject-centered approach, which follows a curriculum taxonomy. While it provides a structured framework, it can sometimes be more rigid, focusing on mastery of specific subjects rather than fostering broader inquiry. Overall, these models highlight different ways to structure learning, some more flexible and interconnected, others more structured and subject-specific. Understanding these helps us appreciate the diversity of educational strategies and how they shape student experiences. Let's take a look at how we can pivot the classroom layout from a traditional, passive setup to one that encourages vibrant interaction. When we do this, we're not just changing the physical space, we're fostering an environment where students are actively engaging with each other. This shift is crucial because linguistic development, which is at the core of our learning process, serves as the foundational element for building high-order cognitive skills. Now, moving to the next point, interaction and communication. It's important to understand that knowledge isn't just an individual pursuit. Instead, it's inherently relational. Ideas truly grow, transform, and become solidified when they're validated within collaborative peer structures. This social aspect of learning is really fundamental because it allows students to test, refine, and deepen their understanding through meaningful dialogue and shared experiences. Finally, when we consider the foundations of social learning, we see that it's not just about exchanging information. It's about creating a learning community that supports growth, critical thinking, and innovation. By integrating these concepts, we're building a learning environment that's dynamic, connected, and ultimately more effective for developing both language and higher-order thinking skills. Let's talk about how to establish durable conceptual retention in our lessons. It's crucial that our lesson architectures explicitly connect academic insights with real-world contexts, whether that's at home, in the workplace, or within regional communities. By doing so, we help learners see the relevance and application of what they're studying beyond the classroom. Moving on to the next point, which is the idea of contextual relevance. Instead of sticking to traditional division of labor exercises, we should implement models that emphasize absolute structural interdependence. This means showing learners that their individual progress is inherently linked to collective outcomes. It's about fostering a sense of shared responsibility and understanding that success isn't just personal but interconnected with the group or community. Finally, this ties back to the overall theme of collaborative frameworks. Building a collaborative spirit involves creating environments where cooperation and interdependence are central. When learners understand and experience this collective effort, it enhances both engagement and retention. So, by explicitly linking academic insights to broader social and regional spaces and emphasizing interdependence, we cultivate a deeper, more durable learning experience. If the answer to whether students are executing this specific assignment format in the real world is negative, then it's important to deliberately pivot their outcomes. We want to guide students toward engaging with public podcasts, formal proposals, or live defenses, which are more aligned with professional practice. Now, when we consider the authentic task filter, it's about ensuring that the tasks we assign have accessible onboarding pathways, so students can get started easily, while still leaving plenty of room for advanced exploration. It's about balancing the low barrier to entry with high ceiling opportunities for creativity and complexity. This also ties into the idea of low floor, high ceiling. We're converting traditional, often theoretical, tasks, like analyzing legislative functions, into performance-based activities. For example, instead of just reading about legislative processes, students could stage a simulated congressional review. That makes the learning more active, more tangible. Finally, I want to emphasize that we should always focus on the process rather than just the content. Designing lesson architectures that emphasize how students approach and execute tasks encourages deeper learning and skill development. It's about creating meaningful, authentic experiences that prepare students for real-world challenges. Let's start by talking about safeguarding our national curriculum expectations. We do this by assigning uniform anchor activities across the board, which helps maintain consistency. But at the same time, we want to give students full agency over the target topics or media they choose. This balance encourages engagement while ensuring we meet those essential standards. Now, moving on to the anchor method. A key part of this approach is consistently rotating clear operational identities, like manager, recorder, analyst, and timekeeper. This rotation isn't just about keeping things fresh. It's designed to develop a range of soft skills in students, such as leadership, organization, and critical thinking. Next, let's discuss systemic role rotations. It's important to avoid assuming that organic success will happen just by assembling teams randomly. Instead, we deploy heavily structured frameworks. Think fishbowl discussions or deliberate think-pair-share phases. These structured approaches guide students effectively and ensure meaningful participation and skill development. Finally, I want to highlight the importance of explicit protocols, especially when scaffolding group dynamics. Clear, well-defined protocols help students navigate collaboration smoothly, fostering a positive and productive group environment. This scaffolding supports not only academic success, but also the development of soft skills, which is central to our overall educational goals. When we look at the social process model, it's important to realize that a perfectly polished final presentation isn't as crucial as the messy, complex work that happens earlier. That means the real value lies in those conceptual maps we create, the critical iterations we go through, and the conflicts we manage during the design phase. These steps are where the real learning and refinement happen, rather than just focusing on the final output. This shift in perspective emphasizes that the process, engaging deeply with ideas, adjusting our approach, and resolving conflicts, is far more important than simply producing a neat final product. Moving on to our curriculum framework transition, it's essential to understand that we're changing how we evaluate progress. Instead of relying on static post-test scores, we're now adopting continuous, diagnostic evaluations. This means tracking capability benchmarks through active milestone checklists, observation files, and in-depth journal reviews. Administrators will play a key role here by actively monitoring and supporting ongoing development, ensuring that assessments are ongoing and reflective of real progress. This approach aligns with our broader goal of fostering a more dynamic and responsive learning environment.